All right, 7 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Full business. Item number 1 is approval of minutes. Special meeting minutes of 18 July 2024 were provided for review. Need a motion to approve the special meeting minutes of July. Okay, what date was it? Because it said 18 up here and then minutes from July 11th.
It should be the 18th.
Okay, so I need a motion to approve the special meeting minutes of July 18th, 2024 as presented.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Call the roll.
Mr. Robinson,
Yes.
Mr. Clement,
Yes.
Mr. Sudnicka,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby,
Yes.
Mr.
Abstain.
Gardner.
Yes.
Motion passed. Item number 2 is approval of minutes for the regular meeting minutes of July 18, 2024, which was provided for review. Need a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of July 18, 2024 as presented.
So moved.
Second. Motion and second. Call roll.
Mr. Robinson,
Yes.
Mr. Clement,
Yes.
Mr. Sudnicka,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby,
Yes.
Mr. Kowalski,
Yes.
Mr. Gardner.
Yes.
Motion passed. Audience participation. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the council on an item that is not on the agenda? No takers. Presentations and new business. Item number 3 is approval of ordinance number 1116 pursuant to chapter 16 utilities section 16-116 and 16-209E. The city council is to be presented with a list of delinquent accounts and the customer's information. On adoption of the city council and subsequent publication 11 more times, this ordinance shall constitute a lien against the real estate for which the service is supplied. Staff does not submit this ordinance for assessment until 25 August 2024. Residents are given the opportunity to be removed from the ordinance by setting up a payment plan with the city before that date. So I need a motion to approve and adopt ordinance number 1116 for assessment of delinquent sewer and trash bills.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Do we still turn these over to the collection agency?
These are property owners, so we do have another list of delinquent accounts that we do send to collection agency because they are just tenants. They do not own the property, and we cannot by law assess a property that they own. So we send that list over to our collection agency, a third-party collection agency.
I'm third. Okay.
If you're a property owner, you're present, and it's your bill, the bill
Yes.
gets sent to your house. If you're a renter, it's not your home, then they'll send it to the collection.
Got it. Thank you.
How many people on that list? Just ballpark.
Probably about the same number here.
I was going to say this list is off the short.
Yeah. I was thinking it was getting longer.
It's a little bit bigger than last year's.
Is that okay?
But some of these will drop off between now and then. Like we have 6 of these people are on payment plans. I like to leave them on it to give us the option of assessing the property if they default on the payment plan between now and then. So they've all made one payment. They need to make another payment, and that'll happen before we have to submit this to the county. So as long as they're doing that, we will remove them. They would think that they're going to continue to pay.
Any other questions? All right, we have a motion to second. Call the roll.
Mr. Robinson,
Yes.
Mr. Clement,
Yes.
Mr. Sudnicka,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby,
Yes.
Mr. Kowalski,
Yes.
Mr. Gardner.
Yes.
Motion passed. Item number 4 is approval of ordinance number 1117 pursuant to chapter 8 Health and Welfare section 7 B's of the code of the city of Lansing, Kansas. A copy of ordinance number 117 listing the account name, property address, and delinquent accounts for property owners. fail to pay weed removal fees is attached. On adoption by the city council and subsequent publication 11 more times, this ordinance shall constitute a lien against the real estate for which the service was supplied. I need a motion to approve and adopt ordinance number 1117 for assessment of delinquent fees for weed removal.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this one?
Same questions I had before, this same procedure in with these.
This one's a little bit different. We actually get in touch with the property owners and contact them. So they would all be on this assessment. We just have this one. And really, this is more a formality than anything because we're anticipating that this is going to get paid.
So there's only one property right now.
Yes.
Any other questions? Okay, I have a motion and a second.
Mr. Robinson,
Yes.
Mr. Clemens,
Yes.
Mr. Seneca,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby,
Yes.
Mr. Pawlowski,
Yes.
Mr. Garvey,
Yes.
Motion passed. Item number 5 is approval of resolution number B10 2024, reinvestment housing incentive district. At the work session, city council reviewed the idea of establishing RHID districts throughout Lansing as a means to create more residential development that would be attainable for more residents. Establishment of an RHID does not cost the city money up front. However, the new property taxes generated in the district after construction can be rebated back to the developer for up to 25 years as a means to make housing more attainable. The city would come up with an agreement with each of the parcel developers as to the timeline and percentage rate of return. To begin the RHID, we'll identify 6 parcels, legal descriptions under Exhibition A. 1, Fairway Estates, which has 3 parcels. Main parcel, 25.5 acres. Secondary parcel is 16.9 acres. And DeSoto access parcel is 1.9 acres. Number 2 is Fairlane Townhomes, which is 3.1 acres. And Fairlane Townhomes first plat lot 1. Item number 3, or the parcel number 3, or item number 3 is Fawn Valley parcel, which is 8.25 acres. Fawn Valley South, second plat lot 5. Item number 4, city property in West Marion, DeSoto, 37.1 acres. The Archdiocese addition, lot 2. So I need a motion to approve and adopt resolution B10 2024, resolution to create investment housing incentive districts.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this?
What does this commit the city to by this resolution?
This sets up a reinvestment housing incentive district in these,
Yeah, I understand that piece, but
and then that
let's
would,
say I buy the Fawn Valley parcel right over here behind me, and I want to put different homes on it. I can do that. I
we'd be able to do that,
with
but
the county?
the city would need to work with you on a development agreement that says, hey, we'll rebate 90% back over 20 years or 95%.
That's not my question. That's my question, Tim. I understand that. I understand what this is. What this redevelopment district is. But say one of these parcels that we've identified, that another developer comes in and he buys the Fawn Valley one over here. Says, yeah, I'm going to put 3 homes up. I'm going to split it up, plat it, put 3 homes on there. Is he committed to under this, or can he build 3 homes? I mean, you're not following what I'm asking.
It does not mean we have to do anything. Somebody could, if they wanted to go off and build homes on these properties. But if they wanted to come to the city and say, city, we want to be rebated whatever the costs for the land.
I get this thing. I'm not really sold on this, but yeah, I get it.
Okay, so it doesn't.
The property could sit for 5 years, 10 years, or whatever. So I mean, you just
I just want to know if by this resolution, if we're committing ourselves, locking the city down to something that these parcels have to be with this kind of stuff.
It isn't. We then send this to the state, and they will approve or disapprove.
Right.
When somebody wants to activate that the RHID,
right?
we would have to come to an agreement with them before we give any sort of money or any sort of agreement
Or any of these senators.
or any of it.
Yeah, gotcha. All right, I'm with you. Thank you.
Well, and I guess to follow up a little bit too, I mean, every developer that we've spoken to, the numbers don't work unless there is some type of property tax rebate. I mean, that's why there's literally no homes being built in Lansing. So
Well,
I
no,
think that's the,
I totally understand that, and I understand what this program does. But when you read this program and it's, what the mayor just read up front, if we enter into one of these parcels under this redevelopment or whatever, and the city doesn't get any of the property taxes, I mean, if there's not an agreement made where we get at least part of them, then when homes are built, all the infrastructure maintenance, snow removal, street, all that other stuff is on the city, and the city's got no money coming in. It seems to be a lose for the city.
Yeah, I agree with Don. When we first started talking about this, there was an article out of Garden City, Kansas, who were wanting to do the exact same thing. The city passed a resolution, and then it went to the county, and the county turned it down because you had all this property, which, as Don says, you got to maintain, you got to plow the snow, you got all this other stuff doing, and those people aren't paying whatever percent it is. So you're looking to all the other taxpayers to pay, and which is one reason the county and Garden City turned it down, was because they were going to get the same services as anybody else paying full taxes.
It doesn't preclude us from figuring out what those costs are and
Right.
saying, you can do it, you'll get a kickback of 62%.
In other words, you gotta make a deal. And
You have to make a deal with each of them, so.
the property tax, so much percent is gonna go back to the developer, and then so much percent is going to the city. If we do that, that's fine, but there's gotta be something.
Well, we're trying to spur development, right? And to do that, we waive, taxes on commercial properties to help them build. So
We
what's the
waive sewer fees and we waive a lot
Yeah.
of stuff.
So what's the difference? We're trying to spur development. So I'm all for this.
The strategic planning meeting that we had, one of our number one goals was to spur to housing development. And I think this does exactly that. And maybe in the short return, we don't make a lot of money, but the final result will, and it may be 20 years later, but we will have that, and we'll be spurring housing development.
And this is still up to the planning commission, right?
I don't think this will go before the planning commission, but again, kind of like Josh had said, each parcel, each development agreement will have to come back to the council. And at that point, you guys can say,
So if we don't think it's a good deal for the city, we can say, no, you're not doing it.
yeah, and you guys can talk about housing prices. If someone's proposing a bunch of $600,000 houses, you might say, doesn't really fit with what we need. So I mean, you guys still have the ability to negotiate with this, right?
And so we can talk housing price points, we can talk density, we can talk, there's a lot of parks and all these are all negotiating tools and chips that we have to say, hey, if you want this RHID money, we need to see X, Y, and Z, right? And so that's part of the negotiation. So
This has to go to the state now.
Yeah, so I think we would send this resolution to the state along with the housing study.
Let's straight to the state.
It goes to the state, and then I think they have to give it the thumbs up, and then I think the county and school board have, it's 30 days to
Say,
express concern or veto or something.
the whole point would be we do have the capability to negotiate. So I mean, if the fees and taxes, and try and figure out how much that's going to impact the city, we can do that on a certain development and say, based on what you're trying to do, I can be able to afford that.
I understand that.
So-
I understand. As long as that, we get a piece of that pie, rather than just totally nothing.
That was Great question. I really enjoyed all the feedback. I understand it a lot better now than I did when I first sat down at this desk. So thank you. It's just a
So let me just be clear, it's these 6 properties that are being added, to it, right?
Correct. These
So
six-
if there's a piece of property that wants to be added later, how does that process work?
I believe it would be a similar process.
They would have to come before us, we would have to add it to the list.
And there's been a couple other ones that I don't think are as far along as these ones are. But yeah, these are just the additional ones that I felt like there's pretty firm movement on.
Discussion, any more on this one? Have a motion and a second.
Mr. Robinson,
yes.
Mr. Clemens,
Yes.
Mr. Stednica,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby,
Yes.
Mr. Pawlowski,
Yes.
Mr. Gardner.
Yes.
Motion passed. Reports, department heads, anything? Yeah. So, no. City attorney.
Another report, man.
Yeah. Got it.
Just a few updates on the city hall building. So ServPro has wrapped up most of their cleanup and dehumidifying efforts. You guys have been in the community center lately. They did have to remove a fair amount of drywall from the basement. Most of the drywall on the main level is okay. There's a few spots they might have to remove, but most of the drywall on the main level is okay. One of the things that we were kicking around, obviously there was a lot of water damage down there, and ServPro did their best to abate the water damage. However, the carpet already was between 15 and 20 years old. So we're kicking around whether or not it makes sense to redo the carpet over at City Hall, kicking around whether or not it makes sense to repaint the walls. We're kicking around kind of redoing the foyer a little bit, shifting around some walls there so there's a bit more usable space. So we're kicking around different ideas. We feel like if there's a time to spruce up City Hall slightly, now is the time to do it. Flip side of that is that would mean probably be displaced for a couple more months. Again, I think that was one of the thought processes that if there is a time to recarpet the building, repaint the building, this would be it. So we're talking about getting some bids for a few things and bringing those back to you guys in a future meeting, just for your consideration if you guys want.
Are you gonna come back with a plan as we're gonna move this wall, take this wall out and do this, do that?
Yeah,
And then you're gonna go out for bids with some contract.
and when I say that too, I think it's only a few walls we're looking at moving, but it would create a bit more open space. And I think the walls we're looking at, none of them are very nice.
Yeah.
But
I got a tour the other day from the city.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, makes sense what you're talking.
yeah. So anyway, we'll be bringing that back to you guys at the next meeting. I know we've been talking to Beth too about different ideas on how we can pay for that if we do end up doing something like that. Just because that's an expense that we weren't anticipating. So, we're still waiting to hear definitively about insurance. So we don't really have a definitive yes or no from our insurance company yet. So that's a bit discouraging, but hopefully we will get good news. I guess another thing regarding the building over there, depending on how long all of the improvements take, I think our volunteer dinner is scheduled for October 1st. We are not sure if the community center would be completed by October 1st. So we can kick around different locations. But that's something that we're evaluating right now. We always do our volunteer dinner down there on Tuesday night. We're not sure it'll be completed by. So something to kick around. And if you guys have any ideas, let us know. We can report back next week. Anything else? That's all I've got.
All right. Welcome back. All right, we'll go around the horn. Start with Pete.
Just great work to everybody in the city for making this all happen tonight and everything you guys have done up at the main building. I know that it's inconvenient, but you guys are professionals and you jump right in. And also just to everyone, make sure you stay hydrated. It's hot out there, so be safe. That's all I have there.
And
Nothing to add here.
Don,
I want to welcome Tim back. And, I'd like you, congratulations or whatever, but it was a great thing that you did, and bless you for that. Got a question for Josh.
Sure.
Our hotel that's still closed, what's the status on that? I mean, Hilton obviously sold it.
Yeah.
No,
No, it's owned by Spark.
it's Hilton
Or
by Spark
Spark.
bought it or whatever. It's gonna be, I'm sure it's gonna be similar venue than Holiday Inn Express, but they're remodeling, but I've gotten a lot of calls. It's still closed.
They are still closed. They started a remodel in probably November, December timeframe. And between the fire district and our building inspector, we walked in and saw some things that we were kind of concerned about, but we were working with them. And then they've gone silent, radio silent, for probably the past 2 to 3 months. We don't have any real timelines or anything like that. So it is an outstanding question. They're going to remain closed for a while longer. I don't know. I don't have any.
When this first all happened, I mean, you know, nobody knew, we at the city didn't nobody seem to know anything about the sale or anything that was going on. Just all of a sudden took the sign and threw it out front.
Right.
And you can't seem to get any information. So I just wondered what's really going on.
Yeah. They got into a remodel that got, I think, out of they weren't really, it was, I think they bit off a little bit more than they did.
I got you.
And so, listen,
All right, that happens. All right, well, thank you.
you're wrong.
That's all I have.
Yeah, Tim, nice to see you back. I went on Monday and I told him bad news was he didn't look any better than he looked before he went in. Didn't make him any more handsomer. Volunteer dinner reminds me that we did have 1,000 solutions this year, or I think maybe we changed the name. Was that? We did. We did.
Trying to remember what it was called, power lunch at one point, state of the city.
Not doing it anymore than I guess.
no, I mean, I think I would rather just like either have luncheons with some of the business managers or bring a ton of people on a thing, giving them maybe changes for other. And I don't think that's what I'd rather have sit downs with chief business folks, and that's kind of why I feel that direction.
Okay. My favorite subject, Parkwood North and South. The trailer parks. I don't know, for years, and I literally mean years, we have had nothing but smoke load up our backside. We've had excuse after excuse after excuse why nothing's happened. You know, I'm glad to say that we now have an owner that's going to put their money where their mouth is. No, I didn't buy that. I don't know.
I thought you were going to bring some news on it or something.
No, I wouldn't buy that. But it's good to see residents of the trailer parks, people that surround the trailer parks, and they tore down old buildings, they pulled out abandoned trailers, they paved the road, they're putting in parking pads. So long overdue. But if there's anything we can do to help them keep going on this, we need to do this. And the folks that live in the South Trailer Park are anxious for their turn. So my hat's off to them. It's like I say, a lot of us didn't think this day'd ever happen. So it's glad to see it is, and hopefully they'll stick with it. We need to work with them, let's work with them. And I understand we now have permission to go on and do inspections, so I think that's good. So next time you talk to them, Josh or whoever, let them know I appreciate it, residents appreciate it. And anytime they're in town and want to sit down with me, I'll be more than happy to meet with them. That's all I have. All right.
I just want to say thanks to Tim and Tish for facilitating me coming on and meetings with department heads. Appreciate you guys' time last week. That's all I got.
Yes, thanks. Yes.
Yeah, I had a conversation with Tim about the track field at the north side. Every school, yeah. And hasn't been tested as a conversation. So.
Oh, I was told it was.
Oh, I'm still running. It's literally like 3 or 4 foot. That whole hillside on the north side of the track is, if you drive up Ida Street, it is crazy high. I mean, there's a fence there, and you can see the grass way above it. So I know it's not your fault; it's the school district. So, but I just think we need to get in contact with the school district. I don't know whether they have a problem with their maintenance staff or what, but make sure that they're taking care of the property. But if you drive up Ida, you'll see what I'm talking about. It clearly, and I get the complaints left and right about it. And people are like, "Well, I said something about it, but nothing's happened." We're working with the school district to get it taken care of. I don't know whether the mowers can't get up that hill around that hillside area or what, but it looks pretty bad. So, and I'm talking, if it was like maybe 2 foot down from the fence, you wouldn't see it from the street, but it's all the way up. So everybody that drives up and down Ida can see it. It looks pretty bad. So, but I appreciate it if someone
can
talk to the school district and see what's going on with that.
Yeah, I had spoken to Jason. I thought he was going to talk to their maintenance team. Maybe they vote a different department.
It is what it is. But, other than that, I welcome back.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see your building up and stuff. But with that, I make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to adjourn.
Mr. Robinson,
Yes.
Mr. Clemens,
Yes.
Mr. Stednica,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby,
Yes.
Mr. Kozlowski,
Yes.
Mr. Garvey.
Yes.
We're adjourned.
Wait,